Alrighty, let's get started. It's hot. Alrighty, so our objective today is to get some element of the economy working. So possibly upkeep ticks or something like that. We've got to get some basics up and running, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so last time I set up some basic working elements of the process. So we've got this concept of upkeep, and we've got this concept of production, and these are used to keep track of them once they're set. And then we've also got upkeep definitions and production definitions, which will be used to sort of set the baseline for various structures. The reason I did this, so having definitions and then there's a lot of redundancy in the actual data representation that will go into the game state, is I want it to be possible for there to be modifiers on this production. If we just rely on the template entirely, then we won't be able to do that. So instead what you're doing is using some delegates, which will by default do the baseline, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, let's get started. So we've got some basic things here. We've got some structures, and I want to sort of build them up and get more information in here before I get too much further. These structures at the moment ain't so great. I want to get a bit more going in there. And what I might do as well is create some helpers for creating inputs and outputs. So I'll create a function for generating a cost. So generating an artifact cost. An artifact cost is a struct, a very simple one. All it has is an item template name in it and item template name. And then it also has a cost. A quantity. Sorry, I might just bring up my references. Just make sure I'm doing all this alright. There you are. Item template name and int of quantity. Lovely. We'll put him off to the side. Alright. So all we're going to be doing is creating a local artifact cost. Set the cost dot item template name to be item template name, and then the cost dot quantity to cost dot quantity. This is just a shortcut, so I'm not manually doing these. Alright. And this will probably all be better served by config, so yeah, let's go the route of config, I think, for some of this stuff, because it's going to be a bit quicker, I think, to lay it out that way, and then I can just because the functions will still sort of do their own thing once it's config, but I reckon a lot of this stuff will just do with config. Let's do that. GR strategy assets is the thing here. strategy assets. Now hopefully this stuff just works. We'll see. Right, so we have a structure. Yeah, let's say we're trying to make the supply center structure more efficient. It's got an ID and name. Let's pull this stuff together and then go from there. Global resistance. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. Cool, let's carry on. Just having a brain drain at the moment, and I'm forgetting how these are structured, so I just wanted to grab it. Okay, so the ID. Let's call it a supply center. We're just going to set up our structure. So, what have we got? Build hours. (24 times 7). Unfortunately, we can't do math in the config, so just have to do it ourselves. Can't even do it off the top of my head. 24 times 7. Okay, what's next? The build costs, theoretically, we should be able to just get away with these. So this would be something like item template name equals and there's a bit of a contradiction here because this is going to be generating them too, but I guess I just need to get some runs on the board really. Okay, so yeah, we can do that. So build costs, build requirements. Might just have a look at the structure of strategy requirement because we might be out of luck in terms of defining it in the config, but we'll see. Strategy requirement. If it's a struct, then we should be good to go. We can probably do that without the... Yeah, right. We might not be able to make use of it just yet. That, rather. I might just take out the strategy requirement stuff just for now, and we'll figure that out when we get to it. I still want to do this config stuff, because I think it's better if I can do it that way. Okie dokie. Production. Right. So production is a set of definitions. So we will start one of those definitions now. Unit capacity for this structure. Let's just say that it can carry 20 people in it. And we'll have an inventory capacity. 1,000. We'll just leave the parcel objective tag and the PCP objective tags just for now. Okie dokie. Production. So this production definition inputs, outputs. So inputs, let's just say that there are no inputs for the moment. It just has outputs. Alright, production time. That's going to be another week as well, so let's just roll with that. And then finally, production ID. Yep. Okay, so now that I've done that, by the way, the reason for that is essentially so that penalties can maybe find them down the track, so that penalties can sort of be another layer of modification that happens, so they have sort of free reign over the structure's economics if they want to. Right, so we've got outputs. Outputs are artifact costs. So let's just say item template name equals supplies. Let's say it makes 400 every cycle, and that's the cycle. So theoretically that should be a valid thing. So let's carry this on and we'll go for Gene Clinic. And this time, so it's got that build cost, and instead of outputting that, it goes abducted bodies. That's what the gene clinics were really for. And let's say they snatch 20 people out a week or something like that. Alright. And the inventory capacity, let's say it's not really a warehouse, so it doesn't contribute as much to that capacity. Alrighty. What's next? So I've got the supply center, I've got the gene clinic. Okay, so those are the only structures I've got. Like eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have stuff like a farm. Let's make one now just to sort of push the point. We'll do it like that, and then we will also have in our expanded resources we've got provisions. So and let's give this one an input. Input's 0. Let's say, yeah, so it needs supplies to work away. Quantity of 1. As an aside, I'm not really sure if this will work at current, but I'm hoping that these structs are just fine and it will do what I want it to do. So the theory is I can build these out hopefully with just the structure definitions. And I got to recalibrate to, sorry, get back to how this, what's it called? No, I have to open a new one. Get used to how this exactly works because I don't do Unreal Script all the time. Alright. Go away. Alright. Global, no, reinforcement, logic. Go. Okay, so we have a strategy asset product structure definition. Our structure definitions. Def name. What is a definition name? Yeah, so just do it for each on default dot structure definitions. Got to make a local structure def, so strategy asset. Structure definition. Def and then structure def, and that will move us forward, so we'll just pluck those out when we need them to using this function. Guess we can return none if it doesn't catch anything. So if structure def, if this definition dot name equals what I want, sorry, ID equals def name, then we can return it. So hopefully we can get rid of these now. So template.allowed structures, yeah, so we'll avoid all that stuff. And instead, the way we'll approach it is by adding these directly. So template.allowed structures. Yeah, that's it. Alright, where am I here? Allowed structures dot add item, get structure definition for gene clinic. Supply center, and we'll add one for farm. Actually, that's only going to be in slum cities, I think. That's how we'll roll. Just going to take a moment just to check that this actually works. Just try and build it and see what happens. Good, do a build, probably die, but we'll see. Yes to all. I'll get rid of that I didn't like something. 88. Ah, right. Yes, I missed. Alright, well that worked, but I don't want to launch it just yet. So what I want to do here is I want to set up a delegate called... Okay. Yeah, what I want to do here is I want to set up a delegate that will calculate the inventory capacity and will calculate the unit capacity. So there'll be some defaults for this, and then we'll go with some other stuff. So I just want to take a quick look back at the way default XCOM does it. No, I want to go to license. Yeah, I have a bunch of delegates on it to build new game state and all that sort of stuff. So, X2 ability. Let's do standard. It's been a while since I've looked through these two. So we go sectoid. Typical ability guild build game state. So all these rely on X2 ability, which is the template itself. Typical ability build game state. So we've got these static functions, typical ability for that game state. So we can use these guys to do what we want to do. But the difference is they're going to accept a configuration of some description and turn it into something that we can use. So let's just jump into templates again. So let's jump into strategy, default strategy assets, because this is going to be setting those delegates. It might not be the best place for them. Eventually we might have to move them, but for now it'll do. So default, static function, and it's going to generate an init and typical asset, calculate inventory. one. Asset. Alright, so we pick up the template and then we do stuff with it. That's basic principle. So strategy asset, global strategy asset template. That's the one. Strategy asset.uc. We've got a function for picking up the template, so we get my template. Get my template name. Have we got get my template? That's the one. Asset dot get my template. Once we've got the template, then we can collect inventory capacity from the template. No dramas. So yeah, we've got inventory capacity. So we need a local int capacity, and that's going to start at 0. That's going to be template.inventory capacity. Then we're going to go through each of the structures. Yeah, so each of the structures that is on that asset, and add to the capacity using that. Not exactly true. Oh, the structure definition. The structure build out remaining. Yeah, right. So that contributes to it. And it's just got the name. That's cool. So global resistance. So strategy asset structure definition. Def, and we'll go for name because we're going to have to iterate through them. So local name, structure name. Alright, so for each asset dot strategy asset structure, for each of them, what do we end up with? We end up with a structure name, we grab the structure def, which will equal get structure definition, structure name, and then we add that to capacity. So that's unit capacity, inventory capacity, sorry. So structure def, right, no, that's wrong. We don't need that because we're actually going through structures. Structures, that's the one. Right, yep. So structures, that'll give us a structure from that we go structure dot type, which gets us our structure definition. And then with that structure definition, we go structure def dot inventory capacity. Sorry, unit capacity. No, inventory. I'm an idiot. Alright, so what's next? Once we've got that, then we just return that capacity and we're good to go. So most of these should work like this. We can pretty much do the same thing for units. So just do inventory, change that to unit, G, done. Alright, because unit capacity is exactly the same behavior. And we've got templates, unit capacity as well. So that should be all good. What am I doing? I'm on the wrong screen. Okay, calculate unit capacity. Okay, that's all good. Alright, so before I go to something more complicated, I'm going to test whether this in fact works. So the way we're going to test it is we're going to go templates dot calculate unit capacity delegate equals typical asset calculate unit capacity, and then we're going to do the same for inventory capacity develop, and then calculate inventory capacity, and we're going to do the same for pretty much every template for now. Alright, so now that we've done that, I'm just going to check if it builds first. If it doesn't build, then we've got problems. But if it does build, then we can sort of try and figure out how we're going to expose this information. I should be able to do that, so I'm not particularly worried about getting to that point. Okay, so that succeeded. So what I want is, see, I'm not saving the capacity right now. I might need to at some point, but for now, let's try and see if we can get away without it. Create asset from templates. Okay, add structure of type. So we get the structure definition, structure type. Build as remaining, add type of structure. Yeah, okay. We don't actually do anything with the structure def there. Oh well. Structure, build as remaining. Everything else can actually be left empty and it's all golden. Right. So how about we just do something where we function calculate or inventory capacity. Let's just say that we do it whenever we need to, and that's it. So the way both of these work is we get the template. template, get my template, and then we will run template dot calculate unit inventory capacity delicate. We'll run that on the asset. So return that on self, and we're done. Maybe we'll see. And we'll do the same here. Calculate unit capacity. Okay, so we have to test that this actually works somewhere. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to look at the UI for city control zones. We have all these fake numbers here. We're going to move on from them fake numbers and do something more useful. So we already have the city asset, and that will inherit that. So let's try and do something with it. Let's just go capacity, and then we will go inventory city asset dot calculate inventory capacity. Let's get a new line on this, otherwise it's not going to look so good. And then units, and then yep, do that. City asset dot calculate unit capacity. So we've got to run the function. That ain't gonna work. That worked. All right. So let's see if we can actually get some information from it. I know the other possible outcome of this is that my templates are broken and nothing actually works. But we'll see. I made a mistake. Missing key name in. That doesn't help me very much. Will you help me, sir? Let's look at the structure definition and see what I'm missing. ID is there. Build hours. Build cost. No, build hours is fine. Build cost looks fine. A way to, I guess, check these. How do we do comments again? Yeah, see, it is that. Production, upkeep, unit capacity, array name. let's copy paste this, we'll comment it, and then we'll get rid of all the build costs and the outputs and see if that's what's causing our drama. Go away. We'll do the same with the rest just to avoid breaking other stuff. Ah, I see. Potentially that's just... whoopsie daisy. Okay. I may have missed that. Let's try that. Need to get some better tools. Alright. Hopefully everything doesn't crash.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area. Command.
Yeah, whatever, Bradford. Alright. Inventory, 2,000. Units, 100. 1,000 rather. Okay, so that's from supply centers of 4 and gene clinics of 2 and a place. So let's verify that we are in fact getting our numbers correct. So our inventory capacity. So 20 unit capacity for each supply center, and gene clinics another 20. So inventory capacity, we've got, yeah, so that's completely wrong. It hasn't got the right structure depth. It's not collecting all the structure depths. So what is it doing? So that's from the baseline, and it's not collecting from the structures at all. So we've got to figure out why that is. Because yeah, the baseline's there, but everything else is not. But that's good to know. We're heading in the right direction. However, these definitions might not actually be correct. As in, they might not. Yeah, they might not be generating correctly, or they might not be populating correctly is probably the easier way to say it. ID equals def name. So template allowed structures. 1. 0 rather. Let's do that. So let's just start from the base. Arrow dot inventory capacity. Inventory capacity. Everything else seems to be working good though, so it's a good start. Alright, let's run this build. I think I saw it there. Come on. Loud structure 0. Loud structure 0. Alright, something going wrong here then. I'm just gonna put some stuff on this, make sure it's actually collecting correctly. Def name. Struct def ID. And I'm just going to verify that there is in fact search at length, sorry, default dot R structure definitions dot length. Okay. All right. Let's see if we've got some joy now. At least this one we can find pretty early in the piece. Have I misunderstood how some of this works? Must have. Force schedules. .ini. Just check out how I did it here. Close it using tabs. Of course. Yep, okay. Just can't do config well, so I should probably get something that validates. I'd love to have a linter on that as well. Those numbers look better. Yep. Allow structures. More. Okay. Good old config. Silent failing config. Things that silently fail are just like the worst thing for programming.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Okay, so now let's see what we've got. So yep, we've got an inventory of 6,400 and a unit capacity of 1,120. So looks like this city is doing the right stuff with regards to that. There's some city that have a few less things going on. Inventory of 4,000, unit capacity of 460, so less space. This won't actually give us any. So, alright. So now that we've done that, next up is determining, actually getting the inventory in there. So as things happen, we should be able to sort of aggregate inventory in there, check if we're running out of space, that kind of stuff. But before we do that, we need to set up everything, set up our upkeeps and all that sort of malarkey. So let's close this. Alright, now what did I set the delegate up as? Just get a bunch of upkeep and a bunch of production. Pardon me. Okay, so what this is essentially saying is that we don't do it like this. So I probably don't want to do that. It's more like going to be, okay, update the asset to now have what it needs to have. Because this one needs to sort of save its state in a way. So yeah, let's do that. So global resistance game state strategy asset. But the standard thing it's going to do is going to take everything that's sort of there and just turn it into something that's good to use. Alright, so we'll call that the calculate upkeep delegate and the calculate production delegate. And we won't like add it to the game state or anything like that. I mean, we might eventually need to check game states, but I really like to avoid that if possible because it will hurt performance. Okie dokie. Alright, so we've got no upkeep definitions, but do we have production definitions? But they're all on the structures themselves. So what we'll be doing is working for each of those structures and then setting its upkeep as appropriate based on the definitions. And what we'll do for now is we will just essentially set it. So we've got this structure. This structure definition has production definitions. And a production ID. So the production ID is there to ensure that we don't overwrite stuff. Sorry, just one moment. Alrighty. Actually, I might just fill up my water. Bit hot today. Alright. Alright, let's calculate production first. Because we don't need to calculate upkeep. We don't have anything to calculate yet. So what we'll do Alright. Anyway, so we need to take the template. We don't have. If we had base production, we would use it, but we probably don't. We don't in this case, so we'll just skip over that for now and go over the structures that exist. So for each of them, we need to get the structure definition. We need to take that structure definition and then iterate over each of its production definitions. So we'll need that. And we'll need to run a for each on each strategy asset production. And then a local bool of found. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over each of the definitions, and if it doesn't have an existing definition in place, it'll create one. Otherwise, it will, if it doesn't have an existing definition in place, it will create one. Otherwise, what it will do is it will, update the existing definition to the correct shape. So we've got the structure def, and then we run over its. So for each structure def dot production. Production def. And then again, we have to run another for each on for each structure asset, for each structure dot production. So that's the actual actual structure. Production. So maybe a way to think of this is like a production instance. So if production dot production ID equals production def dot production ID. Then we will set production dot inputs to equal production def dot inputs. We'll do the same for the outputs. We'll do the same for what else will we do? We'll do the same for the production time. All of these are fixed values, and then we won't update next completion. And then we'll also set bFound to equal true. So at the start of each of these, at the start of each of these runs, we run a bFound. Sorry, my mic is doing some weird things, or rather my headphones are. Right, what's next? So if bFound equals true, so if bFound, after you've iterated, if bFound, if not bFound, then it means that the required asset was not found in structure. So in which case we go structure dot production dot add item. Alright, I'm gonna find this out because this bugs me. Structure definition. Sorry, not struct creation Unreal Script. Unreal Engine free. Can I just create one? Can you create a blank struct in Unreal Script? Give me something I can work with, please. Maybe this wiki can help. Alright, whatever, I'll just make a blank one and call it a day. So, blank production. Production, blank production. Just to make sure, and then we'll fill it out. Production dot production ID equals production def dot production ID. Okay, now it's time to figure out things like T-date time. So we need to get now, and we need to add the production time to state the next tick. It's sort of awkward. This is assuming that we've actually got the inputs to pay for it. But let's just roll with that for now. Because eventually this stuff will need to actually do something. It'll need to, like every time it runs, it'll need to pull from this input. So maybe this isn't the place to actually set up T-date time next tick. So yeah, here we need strategy asset production state. Okay, so E strategy asset production state. And we're going for input. No, we're not going for input. We're going for installed. State, strategy asset production state. Production state. Alright, default properties. Let me remember some syntax by checking an old example. Alright, that'll do. That's what I need. Currently equals E strategy asset production awaiting input. So it starts off like that, then it runs, does its thing. Okay. So awaiting cost. So next tick could potentially be when it checks again to see whether it's got the cost. Otherwise, it could be cycling, which means it's just waiting for the next time around. So. Strategy asset upkeep state. Currently. Yep, so they'll build like that. And for all of these, what we can do is we can go, alright, so after you do this, like it has to do some cycle to know when the next tick is for this whole strategy asset. It should be pretty easy to keep track of. So what we'll do is we'll strategy. I need to have a look at all the methods used for getting time. Someone mentioned that at some point, but I really can't remember where. The right method for it, I mean. I'll just search for T-date time, maybe I'll get lucky. Or at least find the methods. Let's do the Hunter UFO. I've ventured into that code before. Game state UFO. After first interception chance. That interception time. Okay. Alright, where does get current time come from? It comes from any geoscape asset. Gets to do that, I guess. So geoscape entity, get current time. Sure does. Okay. Okay, so in this case, I want to get game time. So strategy rules game time. So what it looks like it does there is it does some caching, but if it doesn't have the right thing, then it goes and gets it. Alright, so we want to get local time, or we can just apply it. We can just say, alright, this needs something done with it right away. Which is essentially what we're saying. So next, do next tick here for both of them. So next tick will equal strategy rules. What was it? Strategy rules game time. Alright, so once we've got that, then for every tick we're good to go. So that's for each of the structures. We may as well do the, like, even though we don't need it, we can do the code for the root level production assets. So asset dot production. So it's essentially this function again, except in the context of structure def. We can probably reduce this obviously, but I'll just stick with it for now. Oh wait, oh that's no good. So undo. So yeah, we're not doing that now, we're doing it from the template. And this doesn't actually use the structure def from the template, which is possibly an issue. Well, it is an issue. So let's go for each template.production, we get production def. And for each asset.production, this is a copy, so we need to run an update on it. Let me just for each give me a index or not. For each, yep, item index, cool. Products. Don't know how keen this thing will be on it, but we'll see how it works. We're going asset, production, products. Nope, so we're not that, we're that. Equals production. So we're rolling with that, and we're doing the same down here. So we need that from for each structure, production, prod x. And then for each structure, once we're done updating it, then we need to get we need to update that as well. So structure ix. We return the asset at the end, because what we're doing is we're going assets dot structure structure ix equals structure. Yeah, we update it as update the struct as necessary. Alright. There's template.production.def. This should also pull from production. Sorry, the template, I guess. Yeah. I'm just going to disregard it for now, but eventually we will do that. It is not a problem yet. Alright, so this strategy asset, whenever you add a structure of a type, what we then want to do is we want to go template dot calculate. We want to run that on ourselves. Calculate production. Calculate production capacity delegate. Hopefully that should update, because it's mutable unlike a struct, I believe. We shall see soon enough. Alright, let's put the delegates on. Fail fast. Template. Calculate production delegate. With typical asset calculate production. Need that for you, and need that for you, and need that for you. That for you. That for you. And for you. And for you. Probably the easiest way to check whether this works is to just drop some logs when it does its work. Adding production. Close that off, close that off. Alright. Right back. Just have to take a moment. Alright, let's go. What have we got in the way of errors? Calculate production delicate. Oh, type mismatch. Strategy asset. Accepts a game state strategy asset. What the problem, yo? No. That global resistance. Game state strategy asset. Yeah, okay. Return the asset. All good as gold. Alright, let's try again. Nope, still bad. Okay, type mismatch in return and assets bad. Okay. 100G, game state strategy asset. Uh, 100. The actual correct one, and then in default strategy asset it's 166 asset dot structures. Alright, let's try again. Alright, okay, it ran. Cool. Yeah, so we got some stuff that's... So when the structures are created, there should be a couple of logs that we can grab. Alright, let's see if this scratches.
Flint continues to build the city center.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one.
Alright, so I'm not going to be able to get close enough with this, so I will just dig out the log. Alright, adding production type. Access none game rule set. Oh, that's not good. So it looks like the game rule set isn't quite there at this point. Okay. Alright, say, macros. Yes, sorry, XCOM 2. Okay, so what do we got here? What's the one we're after? Alright, sorry, I gotta tend to something around the house, so I'll be back. Alrighty, so we're adding production types, however strategy rules was getting the wrong thing. And let's strategy rules. Huh, that's not in there. Okay. Globals.uci. Oh, it doesn't give us everything. Okay. Alright, better go get it. I'll just fetch it. XCOM 2, SDK. Sorry, I'm just doing this off screen. I don't really care to share too much. All right. Development source core levels. Garrett, current world info. Game rule set. So it looks like it didn't have it. So if I don't got it, I don't got it. I need to... When does that get created? Pardon me. I wonder where to get there. Okay, so game time. Because maybe game time, I want to see when that is actually defined. Maybe it's better to go for XCOM game state game time. Create start time. Alright, so this isn't set up properly yet. Oh, but yes, of course, we can maybe sneak it by just going for the geoscape entities get current time. Because technically that does check anyway, and if it's null, then it just moves on. So that'll work. Asset.get current time. It being a geoscape entity, it should do just fine with that. Alright, so strategy assets themselves need to have a next tick. We have this concept of updating, which is for movement. So that's only if it's a mobile thing. Alright, what do we want to do? We want to, when we get to this point, whenever we calculate production, we want to sweep to see what next production tick is, or rather just next tick, because then so function update next economy tick, because that's what it is. It's economy ticks that we're measuring here. Okay, let's get that date time. Alright, so next economy tick is going to be based on sweeping production and sweeping upkeep to find out what's next. And whenever we do an update, that's a thing that's going to get tested, and then we go from there. Okay. Now, where's our time stuff? See date time. Let's find where we had it. what's the way? X2 strategy game rule set. Less than equal to, yeah, okay. Let me resize this so I can see it all. Greater than. Oh, okay, they don't give us greater than, so we just have to make sure we get it the way right. I don't know what a null is for this. It's probably going to be nothing. So what I'll probably do is just get current time and add a year to it. Because there's not going to be any upkeep ticks that sort of go a year in the future, so that's sort of reliable. Alrighty, so lowest date time equals get current time. After that, we're going to go X2 strategy game rule set. I'm not going to remember it, so I might as well just copy it. X2 Alright, so now what we do, lowest date time, so we'll just iterate over everything. So for each, so we'll need a bit of everything for this one. We don't need blank production since we're only reading here. Let's see, production. So for each production, oh. Okay, instance. All right. Give me a production instance. Let's have a look at that structure again. Production upkeep, lovely. Okay, so take that and if, gosh, this is such a verbose language. All right. K date time less than get year K date. Okay, So it's less than, and it would be infix left and right. Production instance dot next tick. Okay, so if that's the case, then lowest date time equals production instance next tick. Alright, run through upkeep, do the same thing. Alright, next up is for each structure. Then we do the same thing for each of them. So, nest this for each structures, structure instance. Just realizing right now that I have the structure. Oh no, I've structured them correctly. Lovely. Okay. So this is now structure instance dot production, and structure instance dot all right. Hopefully it gives me some structure there. We will see. So after calculate production, update next economy tick. And hopefully we get some information from it. So this is actually getting pretty close to something happening. So I've got this system where hopefully I am able to kick it off, and then it will just automatically, whenever it picks up, cannot access protected function. My gosh. Okay. Why would you protect that function? It makes no sense. Just add a bunch of months. That'll do. One, two, three, four. I am a programmer. Right, type is incompatible with 161. Strategy asset 161G. Yeah, okay. They can't print dates, but you can if you grab strategy rules, I believe. Get date string. Yeah, get time stream. That'll do. Go away. Alright. If you're wondering what I did, just change to get time string there. Alright. Seems to think that I've got a winner. Oops. Alright, let's run the strategy. Let's see if we get some logging. Say goodbye to you.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by Your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Oi. Come on. Not sure if that's to do with what I did or something else. Ah, that's because I clicked on that. Oh, it doesn't matter. Alright, let's get the... Hopefully we still got the logs. Get logs. Okay. Did we get any next economy? Nope. Alright, let's try again. I don't know what actually caused that, so... Alright, come on.
Continues to build as city centers.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order.
Alright, we got some life here. Still road connections there and stuff like that, so that's not really going to work for us. This didn't add any structures, so those won't give us stuff either. So let's see if we can get some information from the log as per usual. Next, econ. Tick set to 12 AM. That's not very useful. Well, I did say get time string, I guess. we have the date string and the time string. How about that? Hey Robo Jumper, how you doing? I'm trying to build an economy.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Go away. Okay. So now...
Commander, we currently have no new supplies coming in. We'll need to seek out new means of replenishing our resources.
Which campaign number are we up to? 755. Alright. It's a lot of reloading. Okay. Alright. Time for the next economy tick. Yep, so March 1, 2035, 12 AM. Okay, so that should kick off straight away. So now we need to look at the update game board and do sort of the pattern that other Geoscape entities have been doing. So I might just have a look at them. I'm assuming they're possibly the most efficient way to do it, but I don't know that for sure. Update game board. Where is a less than here? Update. So return be modified. Okay. Such logic, such wow. Okay, so in the update function, we will chuck an update game state, determine whether we're modified, and carry on. Yeah, so I guess we just run it ourselves by the looks of it. Okay. Right. Update. Okay, so now we've got next visibility. So next economy tick is less than, so we don't care about those. We don't care about you either way. So what we're gonna do is, I guess, try and figure out what we're going to do with production once we know that the economy tick sort of ticks. I might just check really quickly while I'm thinking. To run. So yeah, I'm just going to check that this in fact sort of thinks like this. It's going to run like infinitely once we get around to it, but I just want to make sure that my assumption is correct here before I worry about anything else. I also might check if the update function is called by other things, like update game board. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, we've got update game board, and then we've got update. So I'm pretty sure we need an update game board to run here. I wonder how it determines whether to do that, because otherwise this would be expensive. Let's look at geoscape energy, I guess. Give me some information. Update game board. Okay, when some cold condition is achieved, usually elapsed timer handles updating. So I guess this just goes, hey, I'm always going to be doing something. Yeah, so it looks like I should be actually doing the check-in update game board. Let's go missions site.uc, update game board. So yeah, that's where it creates a new stake container and does its thing. So yeah, update game board is the thing. Update is just a potential, like we use it for, yeah, we'll use it as a sort of a smaller container. So I don't want to be running this constantly, so I do want to check, just like this check. So it's going to be something like that, and if that's the case, then do the stuff. Yeah, so I've got enough information to do that, and then I want to create a new game state because I'm like, all right, I need to do something. So economy tick for, what's it called? Strategy asset. What do I do with that? Be modified. So yeah, I'll run the log on that rather than this update function. I might even just ignore this update function entirely. Local assets. So global resistance game state asset, strategy asset. Asset. New asset. new asset. And eventually it's got to submit it. So what we'll do for now is we'll just do this, because we don't actually want to do any of those horrible things. We'll do that. I don't know if I like the way that's set up, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, let's just check that these economy ticks are running. What did I do wrong, hey? Be modified. Bad command or expression. Okay, yeah, I don't even need that anyway, so let's get rid of that.
While we prepare for new operations,
Oh, there's my answer, I guess.
we can pass time by scanning at sites.
Alright, so the time sets, but then it accelerates up to 6 AM. So this is just going to keep on clicking. Righty go. So yeah, the time is still ticking forward, so everything's still ticking. Alright, that's fine. Good to know. Alright, so how do we handle this now? What we should do, since it's a method, probably the easiest way to do this is to go new asset, advanced economy. So this advanced economy method, what it will do is iterate over everything, essentially do the same checks as lowest economy tick, except this time it will act upon whatever the thing is to bring it to the next step. And really, like, it's gonna look a lot like this one, I guess, but I'll probably try and find some places that we can sort of deal with this. Okay, so advanced economy. We do not need lowest economy, lowest date time, because we're not doing anything like that. It's more or less if it's less than okay, now equals get current time. Okay, I don't need you. Alright, I do need production, int production IX and structure IX. and upkeep IX, because I need to be able to update them. Oh wait, upkeep IX there.
Did you see me deliver that kill blow?
Alright, structure IX equals the new structure instance. That's just the one that's guaranteed to do stuff, but all these other ones, so let's cancel these out. Alright, advanced production. So what that's going to do is it's going to take production, strategy asset production, and take it to its next form, whatever that may be. So strategy asset production, prod instance. Hey Tizano, how you doing? Alright, so we take strategy asset production. We won't worry about inputs and outputs yet. It'll be more or less like if prod instance dot currently equals the. So we've already verified that it's time to asset production state, awaiting input, which is the default. So that means we're like going to consume, so consume resources for input if possible. So what we'll do once we have the proper economy system in place, it'll be like, all right, so do I have my inputs? If I don't have my inputs, then we'll just kick the can down the road maybe an hour or two, and then it will wait and it will retick. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll set prod instance dot currently will now equal e strategy asset production state building. Then what we'll do is prod instance dot next tick will equal there we go. We'll just do that. So next tick will equal class. So that's automatic. So next tick will equal get current time. And then what we'll do is we'll advance it. Add hours. Pretty sure it's add hours. Let's see. What do we want? We want add hours. Yeah, so out kdate time and int I hours. So that's all good. So I can jump back. Alright, 1 moment. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to advance this time. So we add hours. That will be executed against next tick, and then we'll add prod instance dot production time. Oop, item. Wow, that was a really good typo. Right, item. Sorry, time production time. So that is the next tick. Crashes. Else, so if it's not awaiting input, then it must be building. In which case, we just hit the last tick, and that means we can refer back to awaiting input. And then the prod instance next tick equals get current time. So I'll go under the assumption that, all right, we don't want to execute this every time, so we'll do this and then it will reset. So prod instance dot next tick equals next tick. Alright, so I'm just going to run a log here. Log advancing production named prod instance dot production ID. Probably a bit redundant, that name, but whatever. Okay, and then return prod instance. So this would update, so production, production IX equals advanced production, production instance. And we've got the same thing going on down here, only this time we're doing it on the structure instance. So it's structure instance dot production, advanced production, production instance. Alright, that'll work, I think. So I guess all that's left is to test it. Before we do though, so through this cycle, local bool, what we want to do near the end of it, just like when we add a structure, is we want to update next economy tick. And technically we could run calculate production as well with no let's just do that for the moment. Okay, so now go back to update game board. Got the thing, new game state. Alright. Alright, let's just try and compile that, see what we get. Failed errors. No, I would not. I'd like to fix them. Expression does not return a value, 179. Yes. So that does not have a return value, it's just a mutation. What else have you got for me? Did I crash it? There we go.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites.
Next, it's economy tick, set to March 1, 2036. We're at February. Okay, so where are we? So the next economy tick is for March 1. Where's my adventure? There it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, that's a shame. Now all this stuff is happening, it's kind of muddying up the waters. Oh, right, of course, okay. So I'll need to kill this city strategy asset. City strategy asset. Set next dispatch. Update game board, yeah. Like really I should know this stuff because obviously I did it here, but anyway. Okay. So now we're moving on from, we're moving on from the convoys being dispatched from here, and eventually we'll get some sort of logic that will just keep on kicking on. Something's probably going to call it. Where's my error? Okay. Expected default properties 158. Why are you doing this? Break it. Did I break something else? Well, that looks like it's fine. Alright, let me delete it. Let's see if it builds. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's very exciting, I'm sure. I'm building again anyway. Aha! Alright. I should probably get... I wonder if I can do some bindings that gets OBS to automatically change monitor when I move my mouse over. That'd be handy. Alright. Excitement does indeed continue to build.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at...
Alright. We got next economy tick real soon. Next economy tick set to, okay, so advancing production, supply center supplies. So the next, so they should build at the 8th. Ah, yes, I see. So all these other ones are like, oh, they don't matter. So they're just gonna move on. They don't actually have anything that matters. So once we get to March 8th, we should have a build cycle. Okay, let's check. March 15th. Okay, so we advanced production a couple of times. So we should have another advancement. Oops. Don't do that. Alright. Something happened there. Lovely. Okay, so that was the bodies, and that was the supplies. Okay, so the next thing to check, I guess, is if this is in fact advancing. The next thing to do is to put it into the inventory. So this will be following a pattern much like XCOM HQ. So I should just look at that and then go from there. So, XCOM headquarters.uc, game state headquarters XCOM, the way around. Okay, so it has an inventory, which is just a big old bag of state object references, and it has an aspect here somewhere which lets it merge it. So whenever we do it, we're always going to merge it together. So like if there's an inventory with a counter, if there's an existing inventory like supplies or whatever, rather than adding a new object and like ballooning the state object reference count, we just bring in a standard one. Sorry, we just increment that count. So I cannot remember. Yeah, add item to HQ inventory. Ever required add item. It's interesting. That might be stats collection more than necessary for this. Add inventory. So add item to HQ inventory. So the interesting thing about that is, yeah, so we have put item in inventory, and that has more to it. So yeah, item state. Righto. So game, I'm going to have this off to the side while I do this, because I'm going to need it. And I'll put you over here. Okay, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you. Whoops. Did I do something wrong? Alright, game state. Strategy asset is my jam. So we do have an inventory. It's an array of state object references, and we're gonna do something similar to put item in inventory. So the thing that's tricky here is add item to HQ inventory. Has unmodified item, has item by name, has item. So there's something it does here which makes sure that it brings things to brings things together.
Penis.
Get item by name. So I think I'm going to pretty much just copy wholeheartedly some of these functions because they're basically what I needed. So inventory management.
Penis. Penis. Penis.
Get item by name. And then we're going to get num item in inventory based on the template name, which will come in handy when we want to start debugging some of this stuff. Right. And inventory. Yeah, I think this is sort of like, yeah, get and remove are sort of, they take the item and put it somewhere else. So we don't care about that just yet. We just want to add items into the state. Here we go. So yeah, inventory items state ID. Has unmodified item. Okay. Alright, so we're not doing loot stuff here. Put item in inventory. Let's roll with that. I'm out of music. Been going for a while now. Better turn some on. Give me a moment. So what am I going to do about... Yeah, I'm just going to have to... I don't want to implement all of this if I can avoid it. So I'm just going to implement some of it, I guess, and then go from there. See what happens. Yeah, that works for me. Sorry, just finding some music. I like music. Almost there, sorry. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Oh, good. Let's get back to it. We'll take this. We've got this item state, and we've got HQ modified. I'm not going to do that stuff. So HQ is modified. Okay, I'm never going to do that. Ever. Add item to, yeah, be always unique. I'm going to avoid that just for now. So yeah, it never adds it because it's an infinite item, I guess. So item awards other items, let's not do that. Alright, let's just do the bare necessities. Asset modified. Alright, so inventory item state, so item state equals get item by name. Item state. Oh wait, so yeah, item item state dot get my template name. We do that. Inventory item state. Then HQ is modified. Is false because we're only gonna, so your asset modified is false technically because we're not going to be, whereas this one does add a state reference. I'm not going to worry about the ever acquired stuff. So instead we just go inventory add item state because that's what we want. So if inventory item state is object ID, so if it's not the same thing, then what's going to happen is it's going to upscale the quantity. Yep. Then we're done. Okay, I think that works. Only one way to test it. So get num item in inventory is going to be our watchword for figuring this stuff out. Gotta find out how this stuff, how I made before. So I did it for wavecom, so I'm gonna take wavecom and make use of it. Wavecom.uc, no, uc logic. Oh, alright. Wavecom logic. Edit anyway, I don't care. Alright. So somewhere here we create supplies. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Lovely. So it looks something like that. So whenever we advance economy, which is the sort of a key place where all this stuff sort of happens, it's like, alright, so we're here, we're building, we finish the build, so that means something like this is going to happen for each of the outputs. Yeah, and then we put it into the inventory and then we're done. But we also need to have the item template manager on hand, so I might as well go grab that. Oh Lord. Forgive me, for I have made sins. Right, let's go get the item template manager. Alright, so get the item template manager, and then we're going to iterate over it and do a bunch of stuff. For each template.uc, strategy asset template, artifact cost, outputs. Alright, for each prod instance dot outputs, artifact cost, whoops, output. So when we do update, we're going to have to pass game state for all of this, really. So let's just acknowledge that and move on. Alright, so we're not using update anymore. You can go advance economy, new game state. Game state. Game state. We run this guy, we need game state to be sent in. Head on up here, do the same deal here. Okay. So what's next here? We need to put item in inventory. So we'll put the game state there. Item, not even worry about this, we'll remove that as a thing. Okay. So we're creating an instance from the template using game state. I might do this wrong, but I'm cool with that. Alright, so output dot item template name, an artifact cost, and output dot quantity. Move you, add you. Okay. Alright, so let's add some logging to that. So this will be something like added to inventory, we'll call it output.item template name. Then theoretically we should be able to get a count from it. You probably won't be able to get, like, the count won't be accurate straight away, but that's fine. We'll yeah, so I won't be able to pull it from history, but that's okay. We'll get num item in inventory, get num item in inventory. We'll use that, and then next. Previous count is item get num item in inventory, output dot item template name. Pretty sure that's going to be the way it behaves. I mean, we could figure it out by just going get num, output.quantity. Okay, well, it's rough, but let's just give that a go. Alright, crashed and burned. What am I fixing? 268 and 115. Inventory item state. What have I changed? As unmodified. Has unmodified. Oops. It's just a boolean, righto. Alright, if item state does not equal none, I guess, will that work? And then, what's the other thing I messed up? 268. Item template. Oh, right, I don't have anything to accept that. Item template equals x to item template. X to item template.
Security personnel, unauthorized data access in retrieval center B.
We don't do this, we do this. And we fix this. Let's try that.
Breach detected. Security lockdown in progress.
Okie dokie. Let's see how we go.
Excitement continues to build as city set.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this. In order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Alright, let's stop. Check out that stuff. I'm not sure whether that was actually the first run, so. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like that collection was correct. Alright, so we've got a bunch of places that have built up their suppliers, so let's see if they build up again.
Got an urgent communication coming in for you now, Commander.
You have made considerable progress.
Considerable
against the
progress.
aliens over the past month, Commander. I hope that you're...
Alright, was that anything successful? Alright, so that tick. So if you set a tick like right now, it passes over it. Because I reckon the next one's going to pass over at 29.
These efforts, but we'll have to choose carefully. We don't have the resources to intercede everywhere.
Okay, so this is the next tick. That didn't work either. What the heck is happening?
Commander, we have a priority message. We're tracking tracking the aliens'
Yeah,
progress
whatever.
on this Avatar project here. If they finish what they've started, it sounds like it'll be the end for all of us. Commander, we currently have no new supplies coming in. We'll need to seek out new means of replenishing our resources.
Okay. These aren't running. Why aren't they running? Okay, I need to know what the next... So I go through them and sets prod instance.currently to awaiting input. If it's awaiting input, then it immediately goes. And get current time means that next tick should be accurate. You mean just like the fact that everything? Yeah, it's like there is so much what's it called? Garbage in the log. Like half of it's not even mine. Oh, and like yeah, in the playthrough as well. Yeah, I'm eventually gonna start turning all that stuff off. But honestly, I don't mind that sort of stuff too much. It's I guess it is what it is. That whole test state stuff we were talking about. Eventually, I'll have a campaign base that I can sort of build from scratch, and sort of, or rather, I'll have a campaign base where I can like save and reload and all those nice things that you're supposed to be able to do. But for the moment, I'll just roll with this. But we are making progress. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at.
Excitement continues to build as city center.
While we prepare for new operations and continue our research, we can pass time by scanning at sites like this one. On your order, we'll start our scans on the surrounding area.
Okay. So they're all advancing to building right now. Okay, so the first one must have not been in position to advance. Okay, now we're here, and they're waiting input. And then they're to building again, so that looks right. So, oops. So now, hopefully, when we get to 15, alright, that was it. So it's set to awaiting input. Oh wait, yeah, okay, so already in storage. Okay, yeah, it's capping up. Alright, cool. I'll just run one more and then I'll have a look at the logs.
message for you, Commander. Patching it through to your quarters now.
I had high hopes for the Resistance under your leadership, Commander. And
Okie dokie. So now...
Commander, we have intel suggesting the aliens are working on developments that threaten our ability.
Oh wait, hang on, I need to kill it first. Alright. Now, let's find supplies. Find next supplies. Come on. I probably shouldn't have done supplies. There are a lot of cities. Alright, how about March 8? Building up abducted bodies. Supplies, supplies, supplies. Cool, okay. Well, it looks like it's working. So at this point, it's hot. I've made some good progress, but I don't think I'll keep going. It's almost 9 o'clock. But either way, we've got production cycles running successfully. So I guess what's next is getting the upkeep cycles to work. Once the upkeep cycles are working, then we can start, what's the word? Then we can probably start adding some thresholds and stuff like that, and it will figure out, okay, so we need to send these off, we need inventory here and stuff like that using these counts. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Lovely. So I'm just gonna commit this now. Yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better. Like, this is some pretty systemic stuff, or at least yeah, it's pretty dry. But once I've got all this infrastructure in place, hopefully a lot will be able to, like, this economy will hopefully start to come to life. So yeah, I think it's a good start. Alrighty, that'll do it for me. Thanks for watching.